Good morning. It's Bradley McAllister over in the control room, trying to control things. Wondering why it's not showing up on Facebook. As I work to get things turned on here, why is my feed not showing up? Let me go make sure I turned on Facebook. Go back over here. I didn't turn on Spirocrafted Facebook. I turned on that. That'll do it. Let me just turn them all on. All right, let's try that again. There we go. Hey, you just got to love this live stuff. Yes, indeed. You got to love the live stuff. Now we should be on there. All right. And don't worry, I'm here. I'm just in the control room. Trying to control. Okay. I think life is good. I will emerge from behind the curtain. Good morning, everybody. It is a wonderful spring morning in South Georgia. I actually had the door. It was 50 degrees this morning down here. It was 87 yesterday afternoon. It was 50 degrees this morning. So it's that time of year where the weather's the roller coaster thing. And I see that Don's here. Good morning, Don. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Dwayne. Joe is in here twice, maybe. You're in two places. Arthur's in here. Good morning, Arthur. So yeah, I had everything I thought rolling, and I went and I turned on. I was trying to be way ahead. You know me, I'm always trying to get one step ahead of the system in my electronics. And I thought I had turned on all the right feeds, and I was going to leave off my personal feed on my personal page. And I turned it on, and I left off the Spirocraft feed. But we got it good now. I think we're set. I do want to go change. Nah, I'll leave that there, I think. Now, let me change one thing real quick, just for one of my monitors, so I can see what's going on. Because it looks like our keyframes are all good today. Hey, it's Monday. I don't know why I ever decided to do my live streams on Monday mornings when everybody in the world is afraid of Monday mornings. But I'm not, obviously. So cool beans. Oh, there's something else popping up. It is Monday morning. I am going to get rid of this thing one of these days for good. And that producer, he just won't come to work. But I think we got it now. And I don't want to babble too long, because people complain about when I babble too much. But, they don't hang around more than 8 minutes and 3 seconds, so we won't worry about that. SolarWind number 3. If you may remember, I ended up casting this into... Oh, don't spill those, Brad. Into a little bowl because it wouldn't fit the meteorite wouldn't fit into the cup mold that I had planned. So last minute dig, I threw it into a bowl like this to get it to cast up. Well, sure enough, I got this kind of strange form now, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it, right? And I came out here yesterday and turned on it last night, like 9 o'clock. So I could do a post. And I turned on it a little bit and got just a shape. And I started playing with some ideas in my head because I've got this. I don't want it to be a bowl, right? And definitely, I don't want to take out the inside here. This is all the cool stuff. So if I just turned it into a bowl, it would be a cool bowl. Don't get me wrong. But I'm looking for something else. I kind of want to keep this and... So I had this thing in my brain, and I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, and I don't know that it'll be exactly, we'll call it an artistic representation of a meteor entering the atmosphere, or something like that. Now, I can't make it like flames coming off the end and all that kind of stuff, so you'll definitely have to work with me. But I think I want to make the top end fairly tapered. And I've got this in tight so that you can see the tools working here today. But I want to make the top end fairly tapered and leave this back end fairly large. maybe undercut it a little bit. Just that's kind of where I'm at. And the big quandary I have, which is what this is Monday Methods is all about, is if I want to do what I'm thinking, how in the world am I going to mount this thing? Because the way it's mounted right now, in here in a recess, well, the recess is going to have to go away for this to kind of be the leading edge of the piece, right? And so I'm trying to figure out, well, how am I going to mount this? What am I going to do to make this all work out? And I didn't give much more thought after 11 o'clock because I went to sleep. And what I thought, well, maybe I put a worm screw down here in the middle, drill this resin so that I can mount it this way, but I would have to have a flat surface here to be able to mount it onto a worm screw. Or maybe I put it in the bowl jaws like I've done before, and I'll take care of this key today. I'll go on and off with the key, as long as I don't hit the other little slider knob next to it, so that it doesn't look like the pecan grove is on the piece. So I thought, well, maybe I put a worm screw in here and mount it that way, or I mount it in the jumbo jaws like we've done before. So I'm just not 100% sure exactly how I'm going to do this, which is what makes it fun and exciting and challenging, and why I love doing this kind of stuff for you guys, because it's a problem-solving process to get where I want to be with this. Now, I do know one thing that I want to do real quick is I brought in a negative rate cutter for my number one hollower, because I thought it might come into play today. So I'm going to change that out real quick. I do want to thank everybody who came to the woodworking shows over the last month. Oh, give me a break. I got more things popping up on the screen over there. I want to thank everybody who came to the woodworking shows. At least you're not seeing this stuff, but I am. I try to get rid of all this extra stuff that's jumping up. I don't even know where it went. Now maybe it went away. I can't do three things at once, can I? Well, I can try. I want to thank everybody who came to the woodworking shows over the last month. We had a great time. I want to thank everybody who took part in the specials that we offered at Spiracraft through the store, across the board on the general product and on the EasyWood tools. Big EasyWood tools order is going in today to help take care of all that wonderful ordering process that took place. So very excited about that, and I want to thank all of you, because a number of you that are here have made purchases in the last couple of weeks. And if I can't get this out, I'm going to be in trouble. Going to ruin my morning. If I have to show you the last resort way, I hope I don't have to. There we go. If you ever have a cutter screw that is stuck, if you have a torch, handy propane torch, you can heat them up, although you want to be careful. Some people say they get away with just using a lighter. Sometimes that'll work. The other unprescribed method, but it does work quite well, is you take a hammer, and you can say that you heard this here. I don't mind. Good morning, Matt. Good morning, Larry. If you are desperate, the screw is completely stripped out, heating it up doesn't work, this will work. And I know it sounds a little crazy, a little harsh. Take a hammer and just break the cutter. All right, you break the cutter, it'll just pop right out from underneath the screw, and then the screw comes right out. That's the last resort, but it does work. Okay? It does indeed work. So we'll get this changed out here. Also, you should do as I say, not as I do. Don't change cutters over top of a pile of chips and ribbons on the floor, because if you drop it, it's really hard to find. And I could go change it on top of my table, but I don't know if you can kind of get a glimpse there. My table in front of me is still completely full of stuff from the woodworking shows. Now that that is in the rear view, we're going to get things cleaned up here. Good morning, Steve. Thanks you for joining us today. We're going to get things cleaned up around here. Maybe next Monday. Monday Methods may be postponed. I may do some more work on the studio to get ready for filming the products. And in an email I sent out just recently, a little bit of extra information here. Sent out an email yesterday, I guess it was, yesterday morning, midday. Remind people about the discounts that were ending yesterday. But also I mentioned that one of the things that I'm going to do with Spirocraft for the product videos for the website, for spirocraft.com now, is a lot of the product reviews and demonstration of how the tools work, etc. I'm going to film them live and right here, and be live, through the Facebook and through YouTube during the week, and you'll get updates about how that's going to work. Now, it will be edited, so these videos will be edited after the fact, unlike a regular live stream. But I would love to have you join me, and you can ask questions about the tools, about the process. It's going to give me an opportunity to definitely field questions, which I think it's the customers, which in this case you represent for Spirocraft. If you have questions, then I can work that into what we're presenting about the tools and the products, because what we want to do is be the most informative we can. So that's part of the concept. The other concept is I'm really good at talking to a camera when I know there's people listening to me, and I'm horrible when I know it's just a camera. So it's kind of an experimental thing, and it won't be like all the products, because some of them I don't think you'd really want to see. But that's going to start not next week, but probably the week after. And like I said, I'll be updating you on that. And it's going to be, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, whatever. But I'm looking forward to that and getting the videos out. If you've been to the website, and I know a lot of you have, everything has a play button on it. And that play button will be representative of an actual video that we're going to film out here live. And it'd be great to have. Okay, enough of that. And turn some of this down. You can see how it's fairly deep in there, and I hate to get rid of that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and flatten this off and make a recess, if you will, or a slight indentation in it. Make sure that this is completely round so that I can turn around and mount it in this fashion on the lathe, which will then allow me to create my little theoretical meteorite coming into the atmosphere concept. I know it's just a concept. Again, you're going to have to work with me on this. But that's how I think I can remount it, go in the other direction, because I don't want to have this recess showing on the front. Okay? I've kind of pretty much come to that conclusion. And as I turn through this piece, and I know I'm in pretty tight here, but you can see it's got some depth to it as you look into the piece. So who knows what's going to happen as we go further. So I think the first step is to mount it the way I've got it mounted now, or set up to be mounted, in a recess. And it's not the world's greatest recess, so sometimes I put it in and out of here. It doesn't always line up perfect. And that's not perfect. It's not exactly like it was before. The recess is a little shy. That's even worse. Hang with me as I try and get this thing somewhere close to where it was, because I don't want to have to return the whole thing, even though I'm going to turn it all away. There, that's not bad. Sometimes you just have to give it a few tries. All right. And like I said, I don't trust that. I didn't make that recess very deep, so I don't have a huge grip on it. I do get some vibration. Okay. I think we're good. And I'm pretty sure I have the camera set. I got the camera set. Michael Brown, good morning. I got the camera set in fairly tight today. But I've got them set to manual, and they should stay in place and not get wonky and all that. Okay? So, let's go ahead and work on this face. That's going to be the first thing. Mark Thompson, good morning, sir. All right, let's see here. I mean, part of me hates to turn away this stuff, but then again, you can't have everything. You can't keep everything. Sometimes it's a byproduct of what's happening. I'm going to clean my goggles, my face shield and goggles here real quick. And this place is a total disaster. I'll be the first to admit. I hope you can't see much in the background because, I mean, it's like a bomb went off after the last month in here. Between getting the website running and new things up. Good morning, Mary Alice. How are you doing in the California coast there? You and your kitty cats looked pretty casual the other day. Of course, we're of the same club, if you will, with kitty cats. We had one, we almost lost one. We call her little sister. I named her, of course. And we almost lost her a couple of weeks ago. And we got her back. She's back with us and doing much better. And that makes us happy. We had to cancel a trip to Florida to take her to the vet numerous times and have her isolated from the other kitty cats and all that good stuff. Just a fuzz low. But she's doing much, much better now. And we've rescheduled a trip to Florida for May, for my birthday, so life is good. Good morning, Lorianne. We're going to have some kind of craziness fun here today. I'm not sure. You missed some of the earlier description. I'm making it up as I go today, Lorianne. Do you think that's, is that okay? It's nothing different for me, I know that. So to give you an idea of how far out that nub sticks, here I am in the overhead. And that's where I'm touching, out there. Okay? But I'll keep you on the end so you can see better. And let's just get this, much to my disappointment, let's get this flattened off. And now you know why I switched to the number one. Oh, I'm so tight. The number one hollerer. I need that small cutter, but I need a decent tool, a good sized tool to hold on to. And I'm being very gentle because, again, I'm not 100% confident in that grip I have in the recess. So I'm being conservative this morning. I know Mark Thompson, who popped in here a little while there. I see his name still. Mark had this idea about me making a cat's eye, and I worked on that in my head for a while, on how I could get a good oval shape out of this piece. And I love the idea, Mark, and it's something I'm going to work on in the future. But I couldn't come to terms with any methodology right off for this particular shape and size that I had. But that's a great idea, and it's something I'm gonna play with. And this is the third in the series. There's 2 eggs, and then this piece. And I have one more. I have one more meteorite. I thought about that after I said that this was the last in the series. I have one more meteorite. But I might do something completely different with it. Okay. So you can see what we're getting there. I mean, this is such a cool piece with the pinks and the greens and the wood and the glitter glow along the edge. I don't know if you remember in the beginning of this, I had this concept of where when on the meteorite, again, all these colors that we put on the meteorite, I wanted that to be available to see on a very fine line right around the edge of things, and that has worked out. So that plan is working for me, which makes me quite happy when a plan comes together. I think it was the A-Team that used to say that. Okay, let's clean this up a little bit over here. Again, I'm kind of in the thinking and turning and thinking mode. So basically, I'm going to make another recess to hold things. Let me find a tape measure, because I don't really know how big this thing is. So that's going to be about 3 7/8 approximately. So if I look at a set of big jaws on the outside, that's just about right. They take up 4, if they're closed tight, the 3.5 inch jaws are 4 inches across. I'm double checking another set of jaws here. And they are 4 and about 4 1/4 on the outside. So that 4 1/4 wouldn't work. Let me double check another set here. They are 3 and they're right at 4. Maybe I go a little bit smaller. Yeah, because 4 isn't going to leave me quite as much as I want. It'd be close. And I do want it to be thin, but I need it to be strong. Okay, I'm going to set a set of calipers for myself to work with here. And I'm kind of leaving the camera not changed just because of changing the key. But you don't really need to see my mug all the time anyway. So I'm setting up inside and outside calipers to make sure that I have the right recess set up. Mary Alice says cats rule. They rule our house. I know that to be a fact. We are not in charge. We have come to learn that. So I'm setting up my inside calipers to match my outside calipers. Right there. And that's what's going to be my gauge for going in. So it's going to leave me just enough. I want this to be thin anyway, so that's cool. I don't have a problem with that. And again, recesses are a little different. I mean, these are straight jaws on the outside. They have a little dovetail. I'm going to keep one of these handy. I'm actually going to end up using the step jaws, but I'm not using the steps. I'm using the outside profile, and the outside profile does have a little bit of a dovetail. So this needs to be undercut for that dovetail to work. Okay? All right. So let's keep on going and close my door here, my drawer. I love projects like this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I just live for. And I'm just going to sneak up on this a little bit. And that's just about right, okay? So I'm happy with that. Again, I'll show you, that's my inside calipers, showing I'm right at the edge of my cut there. Okay. So I think I'm happy with that. And that's still going to give me enough wall thickness that I think I'll have the strength in the wall that I want. Such cool colors. Let's just because I'm so excited about the colors. Even though we're going to turn some of this away, I want to see what this looks like. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's very cool. And see, with this wall being thin, we'll be able to see right through this. Okay. Again, I hate to take all that away, but it's kind of part of the gig. All right, let's keep right on charging here. I think a little more speed. I'll take her up to 1,000. Just kind of working my way across now, just taking some of the material out. This is one of those projects where you don't want to overcommit anything because you don't exactly have a perfect plan in mind. And we can always take more away, but we sure can't put it back. And you know, one thing I know, oh, so we got that big old void there. So some of my burl didn't get stabilizing resin in it, or at least casting resin in it. But that's all right, it's not the end of the world. I know that for one thing, I'm going to take and roll this shape over, and we can kind of just see my hands. So I don't want to take too much out of this because I'm going to change the outside shape kind of to a dome, if you will. Kind of a tapered dome, for lack of better terms. And again, let's see how this color looks, just because I'm curious before I turn it away and see what I lost. So we're getting into more of the wood. Again, the colors are cool. Okay. So let me work on a recess. Again, I keep pushing EasyWood Tools to make us a truly square negative rate cutter, not a radiused one. Tools falling everywhere. Maybe we put it back in the rack where it belongs. That round tool's better. It's hard to beat working with a #1 hollower or a CI5 cutter. need to dovetail this a little bit. So let's start working on that. See, that's where if I had a square cutter, I could come in here at an angle, but that radius cutter won't let me do that. So I have to use this detail tool. The cool thing is, though, if you'll think about it and think about what you've got for tools, you can always come up with a plan, okay? You just have to think about it for a little while sometimes. So I'm watching over here on the opposite side, because I don't. If I stick my head over here to see you, all you'll see is the back of my head. Okay, let's stop and kind of check a jaw on this and see what our fit feels like. So I definitely need to dovetail it more. My depth is good. I've got a little shoulder I've built right now right here. Okay, there's a little shoulder right there, and that's fine. But I need to work on this angle here with the dovetail. So that's why I was concerned about this wall letting it get too thin, and because I'll lose strength. And that's a pretty good match for the radius too. Kind of taking a look here. This is what's going to hold it, so I want to make sure that I've got it pretty good and right, as they say. All right, just a little bit more in there, I think. If I could predict the future, I could guess how much of this inside to turn away now, based on what the outside is going to look like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to turn this outside away as soon as I get this gripping point here made up. And then we're going to turn some of the outside away to get closer to the shape, and then start to take some of this away. So it really is going to kind of be an inverted bowl, but it's not intended to be a bowl. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So, that being said, let's go over to the top side and start to play with this concept shape that I have in mind. And I can actually, because I'm going to take away the recess, I can shape this pretty good, quite a bit. I can take a lot of material off of here. And I think I have a CI3 negative rake on something. Yeah, I got one on a mini tool here. Okay, time to make some real streamers, guys. And if I can get up in here in between, I'm gonna get down pretty close to the the chuck jaws, so I'm going to need to be careful. Because I'm going to get right in here. And I may, actually, if I'm smart, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm not thinking too well. Stay with the CI5. The smaller radius CI5 will let me see how I can't quite get all the way in there anyway right now. Okay, so that'll give me a little more margin for error. Because if I run this brand new cutter into that chuck jaws, I'll definitely destroy the cutter and I might destroy the tool. Because once we turn this around, I want to dome this guy over. But again, I want to get as much of this shape in place so I can take away some inside. And I'm kind of guessing there about where the recess, how deep the recess is on the front side, on the top side there. So this is waste. This right in here. This amount of material right here, everything where the tendon is, or the recess where the jaws are sitting, that's waste. Okay. Whether we want it to be or not, that's just a fact. Okay, so with that, then I can connect this profile here with that profile down in there. Lan Brady, good morning. You missed the past 2 weeks. So great to watch you demo again. It's great to have you here. Don't forget, you can always catch them on YouTube. Go over there, watch them on YouTube in high definition, full 1080. Facebook only gives you 720 on the way, on the after the fact. Of course, if you're wondering, yes, this is the standard deal of resin ribbon all over your head, which of course is kind of the fun part. And it's all fun. So I'm kind of thinking of one of those glass paperweights. I think like my grandmother gave us some, and my mom maybe. And they were glass, and they had things, stuff inside them, flowers or seashells or stuff like that. That's kind of what's in my mind right now as I work on this. The difference is that it was glass, and you could see through it. This isn't, so I'm going to have to take the inside out to get that illusion of the clarity. Of course, if I went about this right, I could part this off and have a wristband, a resin wristband. Wendy, good morning. Thank you for joining in. Glad you came by. I try to have a lot of fun out here. If you've got questions along the way, that chat column right there is the way to ask me. I look up as often as I can remember to, and I'm happy to, let me get this back over here. Happy to answer any kind of questions that might come to mind for you. Well, I've been hacking at this for a while. Let's stop and take a color look at it. Let's see what these colors look like. It's not super smooth, I know that, but let's put a little alcohol on here and see if we can go ooh, ah, wow. and all that good stuff. Oh yeah. So I definitely still have my solar wind swirls. I've got my meteorite showing there. I'm giving this a pretty good cool factor. And I love that I've got greens here reflecting off the, this green is coming from having the green colors on the meteorite part, the pecan root burl. Oh, I heard something crack. I wonder what that was. This purple is an interesting color because we didn't do anything in purple, but we've got purple. Then we've got this shade of pink. So I'm happy. So you can see how we can see through here, how translucent that is. So that's where taking out the center is going to make that all look translucent. Again, it ends up carving away. I wish I had a way to core this and save that chunk. Does that make sense? If I had a coring tool or a way to core this, and I have one, and I could core away that center, this whole center chunk right here. Oh, excuse me, wrong one. If I could core that little chunk out of there, because I like to save, I mean, I hate to just throw all that away. And so I'm going to think about this for a minute. Oh yeah, it's much better on YouTube. If I could cut through this, should I try and core some of this resin out of here with if I can find the parts for it real quick, the Haynes Tool MagnaCore. It could be cool, it could be ugly when I do it. I've got the handle. I gotta see if I can locate the business end of it. I haven't used it in quite a while. And if I can find the business end of this MagnaCore, I could possibly come in here and core a little bit of this out. So let me look around here for just a minute. I know I'm going into no man's land looking for this. I saw it about 6 months ago. Not necessarily a good indication of me having a clue. It might be over here in the tool cabinet, or not. So let's see what kind of luck we're going to have today. Hey, looky there. Is it my lucky day or what? Ooh, she's looking pretty rough, but all that really matters is this is the MagnaCore, and here's I'll give you overhead. This is the tool, and it's got a carbide cutter, diamond shaped, real small cutter on it. And I think I should clean this off somehow. If I could find that 4/0 steel wool that I brought in here, because I don't have a buffing wheel set up in here, or I can just go for it. Let me look for the steel. If I can't find the steel wool, I'll just, there's the steel wool, but I think this needs a little sandpaper. So we're going to do a little quick maintenance on this guy here. And this could be a total disaster, just waiting to happen. Or it could let me save, even if I save a little teeny blank out of the center. I've never cored resin before. So if it works, I could say this is the first time we cored resin and we made it work. This thing's got some rust on it, and I don't want any resistance going down in there. So I'm just kind of hand sanding off some of this rust. Here in South Georgia, things rust like crazy. I mean, I'll try anything, and if I can keep from destroying it and still cut some of this out, then that's all good. It'll be just a cone shape, and it won't be very big when it's all said and done. But again, it would make another piece, another something, right? And as far as I'm concerned, that's cool. What have I got you guys? I got you guys on the overhead, so good. So I'm getting the big chunks of rust away from the cutter on this. And if it works and nobody else is doing it, you say, hey, I saw the first time resin was cored with a coring tool and Bradley did it, yada yada yada. All that fun stuff. And if it doesn't work, you can say, I saw this guy try to core resin with a coring tool, and man, what a disaster that was. pretty heavy scale on there, but we'll go with it. Okay. Cool beans. So, this way this guy works. And it's bent. I bent it years ago. It's got a little curve in it. I bent it turning out at the woodworking shows with it. And it goes under your arm. It's an arm brace style tool. Okay, and then we're going to come in here. Let me steel wool the bottom. It doesn't want to slide real well. And at least, you know, we might get a little divot to make something. And if nothing else, it saves me from having to take a carbide cutter and turn all that material away. We just go doom and cut through there. I say that. It could get in there and just stall. There's a hole right here, which is going to kind of add to the excitement factor. This little hole right here. But I'm lining up the tool cutter with the center of the piece, more or less. I'm going to back out the handle a little bit to give myself some room to move in there. I'm going to pick an angle. Let's say it's 45 degrees or so. But I need to make sure that I cut all the way through without coming out to the top. This is where I've got it set. And here I'm going to come in just outside of our predetermined edge. Going in at approximately 45 degrees, give or take. I may lower that angle. And I need to make sure that I cut to here. I come to here so that the whole piece comes out. All right, I've got enough room up in here. So, you guys ready? I don't know if I am, but I'm going to go for it anyway. What's the no guts, no glory kind of thing? I better take a sip of soda before I try this. Okay. Because this is going to be a lot of friction, I hope that the tenon holds, or the recess holds. Smooth, right? Just imagine when you've got this thing stuck into a 20-something inch bowl. It's pretty exciting. But hey, it's working. More or less. Yep, I leaned the wrong way. That's got to be all wood right there. The general idea, it's not saving much of my piece, but it's still a whole lot easier than turning all that with a carbide tool and cutting it all away. Okay, and I think I'm safe if I keep that on that angle. There we go. And voila, we've cored a chunk of resin. Well, that was exciting and fun. As I had hoped for, just a little teeny chunk is all that was left. But that was a whole lot less work than cutting everything away. Okay, so now, because now I can feel my wall thickness here. So that was probably the best thing I could do. Let me grab another set of calipers here and show you what's going on. So with the set of inside-outside calipers, there is the thickness up top. Clean that off at the top edge. And now I can work that, because you see it gets a lot thicker as we go down in here. So I can make that uniform thickness, round this over, dome this in, and then when I turn this around to make my dome on the outside, well, we'll be pretty close to where we want to be. All right. So, get me some tools again. Get me some tools. No, I haven't been in the South too long, have I? I think I lost my Colorado accent in the last, gosh, I've been back here 10 years, solid 10 years now. All right, a little more speed back again. We are on the inside. Okay. So what's kind of cool is we know that we've got burl on the inside. And see, I still can take some of this out here, you know, away. So I'm not going to make it as thin. I'm going to leave it a little bit thicker up here because I want to roll that over some more. And the other thing is, the issue is that once it's held in jaws this way, here, when we turn it around, I won't be able to gauge that wall thickness. Okay. Now, just for yucks, because you know I keep liking to check the way this looks. It looks pretty cool on the inside as well. This might be one where I put a little light, put a little LED, and it sits up and just like a little dome, like a night light on the countertop. Because the light's going to pass through there somewhat. Okay. Let's take a little bit more of this out of here. And what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little bit more out of the inside. And I'm going to match this profile on the outside as best I can before I turn it around. Remember, it's supposed to look like a meteor. It's not going to look like a meteorite coming in, I know, but that's the idea. Hey, we don't learn things if we don't try. Okay, so this thing's going to vibrate like crazy when I turn it around. I know it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work to match the wall thickness somewhat on the outside to the inside to match our curve. I need to rotate this cutter real quick. This cutter's a little dull, like the green screen. I need to rotate this cutter real quick to get the best cut going. I'm having fun. It's a good Monday morning experiment. Come on. The only thing, these screws, if you don't get the wrench, the hole cleared out and the wrench seated in there, you run the risk of stripping it. That's why I use the ice pick and I get down in there and try and clean all the way down into the little corners. It kind of looks like my wrench is about worn out. So let me fix that real quick. I just grind away the end of the Allen wrench, get rid of some of what's rounded over. Of course, now it's hot to touch. No, not going to win this one. I think that screw is toast. One more try, and then I'll just leave it be. No, she's done. Okay, we'll just leave it be. We'll clean this up with the radius cutter. Back to the overhead, turn off the key. Okay, that's not too bad. A little bit thick right there still. I need to clean off my contrast over here on the back side. So here's another thing I'm going to do, which will help. I'm not going to bother to sand this inside, but I'm going to spray a little lacquer in there now. It will help me see through it. Because it will make the inside a little shiny. And it'll dry by the time I come back over here. Okay. A little more cutting right here while it's still hanging this way, because again, once I turn this around, this is fairly thin now. I'll probably get some flex and stuff like that. So I actually want to take as much of this away as I can now. Switch over to the
Number 1 hauler with the smaller CI5 radius cutter. Put you on the overhead. Sorry about that. And changing this upper profile just a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to take a radius tool before I turn this around and clean up some of this outside. This is a lacquer that's just slinging out there. I call it lacquer fur. I've got a couple of waves in this, if you will, and the round cutters are notorious for kind of making wavy cuts. So we switch over to a radius style cutter. Smooth out that arc. You know what, just for fun, just because I feel like it, I hope I don't wreck anything, I'm going to take a little 1/4 inch bowl gouge. I know, I'm crazy. And I'm going to do a little shear cut right here. Because during the woodworking shows I was showing folks that you can indeed actually use your conventional tools. That one needs to be sharpened up. Let me see, just because I like to have fun, where is my little other detail tool here? It's a spindle detail gouge. When they're sharp and you've got the right profile, you can get a real nice finish on this. Just for fun. Always trying something different. Okay, I can see through there nicely. You know, you can see my finger going through there. Or at least I can. Okay. And I'm pretty comfortable with that, the uniformity of the wall there. I don't want to take it till it's just paper thin. So, I think it's time to turn this guy around. Okay? Better or worse, we will turn it around. Let's get some of these tools back up out of here. And hope that my theory works and that my mounting method works. Okay. Doom, 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 doom. Change out our jaws. Now we've got a myriad of options that we could actually do on the end of this thing because we haven't cut anything away. And so there's nothing that says that it has to stay in the theory that I was working on. You know, so here, you know, we've got, this is the profile we've got on the outside. We could make it look like the top of a Saturn rocket or whatever, but not exactly, you know. It could be a nice bowl just like that. You know, there's nothing wrong with that either, in a lot of ways. So maybe this thing can do double duty. Who knows? It could be whatever you want it to be. And I think the cool thing would be that you make a number of them, and some are made to go upside down, and some are made to go right side up, or hold things, and the others are supposed to be little domes. So there we are. That sits right in my jaws, on my jaws. Now this is where I don't want to expand too much and crack it. And that turns, let's see how this turns. It looks pretty good. So I'm happy as I can be with that. Okay. Again, it's always a fine line with the recess of if you overexpand, then you break your work. Okay? And that's bad. Now, another thing we can do is bring the tailstock up for a little support until we get to a point where we need to take that away. And that's never a bad idea. It will keep it from flying off. So let's bring up a tailstock with a live center. Never hurts. It does drill a little bit of a hole in it, but we'll turn that away. Just a little added security. Okay. And off we go. Mask back on. Somebody got gold epoxy all over my mask. I don't know how that happened the other day. Oh, I'm going to have a gold forehead now. Hang on a second. I have to clean something off of here. Otherwise, I'll be going out to lunch with gold epoxy on my forehead. There we go. All right, all better. A little bit higher yet. This guy right in there. That looks pretty good. All right, let's take this away. I say I could change my mind along the way here. You never know. My design could completely change. It would be cool. Maybe I do this and then hollow this out so it has a ring to it. How about that idea? So I love being able to change your mind. That's an idea. Bradley, that's a cool idea, kind of, sort of. Let me clean this up some more out here. I'll go to the overhead for you. So now we're refining that outside shape and getting all the tool marks and waves out of it. The tool rest is a little buggy this morning. Let's do a quick fix on the tool rest. Flat file little nick, or might have some gunge on it. Who knows? So this is kind of, to me, the sanding part. Sanding without sandpaper. Getting that just as smooth as we can. Take that away from there. Tell you what, I'm going to change. I'm going to rotate this cutter. I'm pretty sure it's fresh. Now, where did I put the wrench? Oh, there it is. Because I've been using this as a new cutter, but it's been used a number of times, and these are my finish cuts. So I want to go ahead and rotate this guy, and hopefully it's not, the screw's in good shape. Yeah, there we go. It's actually a little loose. Now I'm going to give it a quarter turn. There we go. Expose a fresh cutter. And I just snugged it up with the long end. I'll tighten it with the short end. All right. Let's see if that's any better. Much better. See how we get a much nice smoother cut? No real issues, no tool marks from it. Come down here and clean this area up. The wood is what's making a bounce, because the wood is hard and soft. So very, very fine, light cuts. And I'm actually refining the shape. And I'm looking on the opposite side over here where you can't see, but on the opposite side I'm looking at my profile for all of that. Okay. Small cutter to come inside this. So again, now the real question in my own mind is, do I leave this whole piece up here just for decorative, because it brings us wood and color, or do I turn it all away and just make it be a dome? Do I dish it out? I can dish it out and take some of it away, and if I don't like it, I can always just take the whole thing off. And I kind of hate to throw away all of that color and good stuff. So here's what we're going to do for today. I can always change my mind later if I'm not happy. I know I've got plenty of material there. I say. So this piece could actually work either way. It could stand up and be a bowl container, or it could stand like this being the top, and be a little decorative. It could be a little candle holder type of thing. Because I've left myself a lot of opportunities and variations. You know? Let's see what we're looking like in here. Let's whip out our denatured alcohol and give this a splash for color and translucency and all that good stuff. So we're on the end camera right now. So that looks super cool because we can see through this piece, down through in there. And if I pop it to the overhead, very cool. I like this. This is neat. And I could probably go a little deeper down in here if I want to. Take a little bit more of that out. I'm looking at the inside in there, so I have a little bit of room to go a little bit further if I'm so inclined. The question is there a gain to it, or is there a loss to it to dishing that up? So it'll make it a little more transparent a little further down. It may also expose, it may connect this. Looks like I see more wood there. I'm going to go just a little bit more. Not a lot. I think I'm going to go just a little bit more. And what I'll do today is I'll just throw a quick coat of lacquer on this, because I can sand this, I can remount this in both directions and sand it nice when I want to. I don't need to sand a lot the way I use the lacquer. But I'll just put a coat of lacquer on it today so you can see what it will look like when it is all sanded and finished. Okay, I like that. Now, let me see if I can't go in here without messing things up. If I go in with a CI5, can I do a little bit more? I can. Let's put a little more. Let's put. Good thing I have a wood floor. Let's put a little more waste. Make this a little bit thinner right in there. Now I could go in with the. How this works? I'll do it. If you take a tool and make some relief cuts, it makes it easier on your other cutter. So if I take a negative rake with the CI7 EasyWood Tools cutter and come in here and make a couple of little relief cuts in here. Then when I come in with the CI5, it doesn't have to work as hard. Now, I'm going to raise that up just a fuss. So what we've done is we cut little teeny ribbons there. And now when we come in here, and heaven help me I don't go too far and cut the thing all the way off. I take those ribbons away. And if I'm going to err either direction, I'm going to go to the left because I have more material there. Now once you cut with a detail cutter like that, you're committed to get rid of those grooves. So you don't really have a choice. And there we go. See how that looks. A little bit more. I've got a little bit of groove right there still, but I've exposed some more color and wood right there that it wasn't really showing before, so I'm happy with that. Now I'm checking thicknesses here. All right, we're okay. We'll just clean this up. How am I doing on time? 12:23. All kinds of time. I went pretty far with that one right there. Not too far. It's not we can't fix it, but we do have to keep going a little bit more. And you don't want the cutter to be loaded at 180 degrees. You want to have a little bit less contact than 180 or it can catch and bind. There, we're getting it now. That got it. That cut right there got it. Okay, good. And let me reach back in here, see if I can get in here at all. Oh yeah, I can get in here. Clean this up a little bit more with the radius square style tool. Can't get all the way down in there, but I can get in there some. And actually clean up this side of this, because unless I just don't let that corner right there touch the other side. And we can clean all that up. Clean up that. Okay. Now let's take the big cutter, go inside again, and on the bottom end here, Make a 1 or 2 last passes and see if we can't get that as smooth as we can. Slow down the feed rate. Okay, that's ready for sanding. So, for the most part, I'm pleased with the way this has come out for what it is. I'm going to spray some lacquer on it to give you the sheen, and then I'll sand through that lacquer later on. And I think we'll have had a good Monday Methods. Now it doesn't look like a meteorite entering the atmosphere, does it? But hey, that was just a concept to start with. You got to have some place to start. Again, you never know where you're going to go sometimes. It's fun. It's a cool looking piece. And I'm just going to spray a little gloss lacquer on it, and I'll show you from both the end and the overhead. And you'll be able to see what this piece is going to look like once finished with the lacquer, like the other pieces. And again, it could be a bowl. It could be a bowl if we turn it the one way, or it can be a decorative piece like this going the other way. So let me go to the end for you. Again, you'll see the tool marks and all, but we'll sand those out. And I'm not going to do that now. You shouldn't, I don't say don't ever, but you shouldn't spray finish on your lathe because it gets all over your chuck and your jaws, but I'd just go ahead and clean them up with lacquer thinner. Now this piece looks really cool. So that's from the end, and now I'll show you the overhead of the same piece. And I'll take some pictures of this and post them. I'll do some up close. I'll put this out in the sun, and this thing will scream because we can see through it. The light, the sun is going to blast through this. And we've got our wood. We've got all our holographic and iridescent colors on the meteorite part of it. We've got our swirls and our solar wind pattern colors. And we've got some natural lighter colored wood. Yeah, Mary, with a light, that's what I was talking about earlier. I think if what camera am I on? If I put a light underneath this, I have this be the top, and you put a little light underneath here and shine through that thing, that would be like the world's most coolest night light. And then you could still put something in the cup right up here on the top. That was one of the reasons I kind of decided to leave this. Make this the base. Put a light underneath a little LED, and this thing glows, and you could put, say you put your ring there, your whatever you take out at night, whatever you want to do, and put in here. Super cool. Or you could turn it around and probably put a light under here. I'm not sure exactly how thick that bottom is now, but I love this piece, and I'm going to let it dry just a second. I'm not worried about messing up the finish. I'm going to let it spin for a sec, and then we'll turn it over and spray the inside. Again, this is a temporary coat of lacquer, so I'm not worried about it. Solar wind crater. That's a good one, Doc. I think this is cool. I'm pleased. Again, like I said, so I had the concept of the meteorite burning up, coming into the atmosphere. Well, I knew that I wasn't going to actually get there, although I looked at them this morning on internet pictures, being Google or Type, and it got all the flames coming back, and so that's a project for another day. And because this piece was a last minute, had to throw it into a mold like this because a cylindrical mold didn't work. The burl didn't fit in there. So considering that it was a last minute choice to throw it into something like this and be able to get something out of it that is really cool and unique,
is not a loss by any means in the way I look at it. It's just not exactly what you started out with your plan. And you'll find out a lot that, at least I do. Maybe it's different for you guys. I'll start out with a plan on a piece, and I end up somewhere totally different. But that's one of the things I love about turning, whether it's wood or resin. Unless I have to make some particular reason, I love it when it changes just because of all the forces acting on the whole concept. I don't want to get all cosmic about it. When it didn't talk to me, I didn't hear a word out of it. I didn't hear a peep. But I worked with what was there and made changes and alterations, and I'm quite pleased with what came from those changes and alterations. And that's the part I really do like about this hobby. Hobby, craft, art, call it what you will. Because you just never know where you're going to end up. It's like taking a right-hand turn on that two-lane road that you know it gets to where you're going, but you're not sure what the trip's going to be like along the way. Or at least you think you know where it's going. I'm a big fan of the back roads. So it's all the same to me. It's the same kind of principle. And that's dry enough. I think I can touch it without killing it. So let's turn this guy over and put it upright. And we're just going to shoot a little lacquer down in here. We got some ribbons down in there. Granted, it needs some cleaning up and some work. No denying that. And since we have this lip here, it was designed to sit this way, okay, upside down. And there's a side shot of it. I'll have to turn the key off. So there's a side shot of it. I can never really do these just right. And I'll take my phone. We'll do this in a second. As a matter of fact, I better do it right now. Let me get my phone and shine a light up underneath this. And I can kill some of the studio lights to make the effect even more dramatic. Let's see, if I do that doesn't kill all the lights, but it makes it a little bit darker in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Oh, my light went out. I hate this flashlight. It doesn't like being... And that's a pretty bright white light in there. So you don't see the colors yet. A more subtle light would be better. Doesn't come through too much that way. But it definitely lights up that way. Just that light's too bright, it washes out the colors. Turn my lights back up in here a little bit. Pop this over here. Again, there's trash in here and all. But we'll take care of that. I'll set it up. I'll be really bad. I'll just hold it. Again, there's flakes and stuff that are kind of stuck in here right now. But I can actually turn this and sand it from both directions. Try not to asphyxiate myself here at the moment. So I'm real pleased. I'm real pleased with this guy. All right. Well, cool beans, guys. What do you think? Success? I think so. No can't see. What couldn't you see? Oh, you couldn't see on the side view. I'll do it again on the side view. I probably had it in the wrong. Kind of give you a look at it from the side. Hopefully you don't see the too much of the the pecan grove because I don't have the key turned off. Wrong view. Oh, you're right, you guys. See, I'm breathing lacquer. That's what happens when you breathe too much lacquer. Yeah, that's the end. And now I'll go to the overhead, which is what I was probably trying to show you before. And again, the inside is all rough. I'll shoot it again with lacquer. It needs to be sanded, cleaned, and all that. And I didn't really intend the inside to be seen so much. But if you wanted to use it that way, I'm zoomed in so tight with the camera, it's kind of hard to get it out of the way. And then if I hold it sideways on this camera, well, you can see the profile there. And let me see. Let me hold it right here. This is like some spots are cooler than others. Oh, my lacquer's about to run out. So we'll gloss that up real quick for you. It looks like it's about an inch thick, even though it's not. And I know you don't get the same view that I do, but it's very cool. It's going out of focus because the cameras are set on manual. But you can see my hand moving back behind there. So I'm quite pleased. Quite pleased. And set it down before I make a mess of it. All right, cool beans. I might even stop a little early today. It's 12:38. No, actually, I started at 11. Usually I go to 1. Hey, so it's a little early. I could use the break. I'll go to a Mexican restaurant a little bit earlier. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. Tell your friends to go to YouTube and watch this because I think that they'll find it interesting on what you can do with the resin and even these were not these were free burls, as a matter of fact. But if you'll color some burls with the Chromacraft iridescent paints and pearls and glitters and whatnot, and then hybrid cast them and turn them, you get the Wind series. And I got to finish all these. There's Solar Wind number 1. It's along its way being finished up. So I did 1, 2, and 3. That's 1. This is 2 that I worked on over the weekend. Let me put it on something to hold it here real quick. My wife Bridget has claimed all of these. There's number 2, which is really cool. You get these guys out in bright light in bright sunshine, it really makes them pop. So it's been a fun project, a fun series. I've really enjoyed it. I will switch gears because I've been on resin for 3 weeks now. So we'll be switching gears a little bit. I think I am going to take next Monday and not do live stream and get in here and work on the studio some. I got to slip out of town later this week and go up and help the family out, cut some trees down. And again, I may pop away and not be here next Monday. I'll keep you posted though. I know I posted kind of late last night, but had 101 things going on and I needed a nap. I woke up from my nap last night at 8:30 and then I got up and posted Monday Methods. There's never enough hours in a day. But hey gang, I appreciate everybody coming in. I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for the support and have a great week. Enjoy the springtime. I know it's springtime day here. I'm going to get outside and put on my flip-flops and a pair of shorts and go to lunch. So I will see you guys, if not Monday, I will see you the following Monday for Monday Methods. Appreciate everything. Have a great week, and I'm going to shut this down. Hey, Michael, I didn't know you were here. Thanks, buddy. And I'll leave you with an overhead shot of this kind of, sort of. No, that doesn't really work. Things aren't in the right place. I'll just leave it down there on the table and we'll call it good. I'll put it right there and we'll say, thank you, everybody. Have a great week, and I will see you soon.